So I just want to get everyone situated and also introduce myself and my incredible guest today, Victor. For those of you out there in the art world, my name is Brooke Jaffe, and I am hosting the first of what we hope will be many conversations about fashion, art, the world right now. And we want to bring the most talented creative people onto this platform of IGTV for ARTnews so that we can just continue an interesting dialogue about the state of things and kind of how do we move forward. But I have with me today someone I call a friend. Victor, I was thinking about, this is Victor Glemaud, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Incredible fashion designer. And Victor, I was looking back to see when you started your eponymous Victor Glemaud fashion brand.
Yes.
I can't believe you launched your brand in 2006. That feels like yesterday.
Not to me.
Well, I feel like I remember when you, like, it feels like I just,
Yeah.
You just told me the news.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to out how long we've known each other because that would just be,
Why don't we just say we were assistants together back in the day?
back in the day. Back in the day. So I am going to let you take the lead here, and I
Ooh.
want you to tell the ARTnews community just about the brand Victor Glemaud and the genesis.
Well, like Brooke said, we started this back in 2006, and I started it with just like a handful of sweaters, and doing menswear. And it's grown and it's started and stopped. And sort of the new iteration of what I've been doing is in the last 4 years. And it's really this idea of designer leisure wear focused on like statement sweaters, and whether it's a stitch, a detail, this is my summer sort of version of it with like a little splatter print. And I really think about color. I think about the yarn. Everything is a natural yarn. It's really about sort of skimming, and really being versatile on the body. You've worn things a couple of times.
Yes.
And what I like about what we're building now is that it feels really unique for each individual, whatever shape, race, age, size that you are. And I really think about that from when we're thinking about color to fabrication to the season to just the overall theme. And I always think about the end wearer.
Absolutely. I mean, as someone who's worn your designs, I think it's interesting that you focused on knitwear particularly because there's something very luxurious, yet very comfortable. And then also, as you said, it sort of takes the mold of the wearer and
Yeah.
it really lends itself to
Yeah.
a lot of people.
For me, like I thought that was a real sort of business strategy. I thought about what do I like designing, and it actually was sweaters, and I was just like, how do I make this a business? And because fashion similarly to art is business.
Yes.
And I really wanted it to feel like it to me. It's always what I wore. Like I always say, I wear a sweater all year round, and I do. To me, they're like jeans, or like underwear. I don't wear underwear, so I don't ever
Whoa.
wear underwear. So I just say they're like jeans because I wear jeans all the time, and I always wear a sweater. So to me, it's always that.
I love it. So for those joining, because people are kind of coming in and out, I'd like to kind of refresh and reorient. Welcome our news community. I have the one and
Hi.
only Victor Glemaud with me today. Incredible knitwear designer, leisure wear, as you say. And our focus through this video series is to really bring the art and fashion world together in a meaningful conversation. So let's dive right in since we're talking to an art enthusiastic crowd.
Great.
How does art, how is art playing a role in your design process?
For me, after sort of every collection, however I create the imagery or we should do a runway show or presentation, I always take a couple of days to sort of mourn the end of that process and start the other one, or start
Okay.
thinking about two later. And I always say I need to go and look at beautiful things. You know, like I go to galleries, I
Yeah.
go to museums. I just start to absorb or go back to things that I was thinking about, whether I snapped it on my phone or I made a note of I want to go here, I want to go there. So I really start with thinking of color, and that to me comes from art always. You know, wherever I go, like when we're in Paris for market, I always go to every sort of museum. When I travel, and I used to travel a lot, you know, I would
Yeah.
always I would always know like what was going on and go and see it. And there would always be
Yeah.
certain museums that I would go to in cities or galleries time after time after time. So I just got to sort of cultivate and know what I liked. And also, I guess maybe what I wanted to be surprised to see.
Is there one artist in particular that kind of you feel like is always a reference point that you go back to?
In terms of color, no, but I feel like I started, and I feel like this idea of, you know, the statement sweaters started with Fontana,
Hmm.
Lucio Fontana. I was in Paris with a friend of mine, and we went to whatever the modern museum is in Paris, Musée de la Moderne de la Vie or something.
Hmm.
And this was in 2014, 2015, and I saw this incredible Fontana exhibition, and I was blown away. And, you know, the slashes, and I was like, that's a great idea for a sweater.
Yeah.
And I sort of sat on it for about 2 years because I couldn't find a factory that was interested in developing it. And the ones that were, the quality wasn't sometimes right, it was too expensive.
Right.
And I finally found a great factory that was doing it. And I started with these like I have one here. These
Yes.
like slash sweaters. You know, you can put your fingers
I
through.
love it. And I have to say, I feel like this has become a signature
Can
for
you
the
see?
collection.
Yeah. Yeah, it really has. It's something that I sort of update. This is a recent one. Like I started it with red and black, and that's it. Started with four sweaters, a crew neck, a turtleneck, and it just really sort of grew from there. And what I like about it is that I could like throw it on over this, you know, and if we have dinner outside tonight or we're
Love
going
it.
out, which, you know, that's not happening. You know, but that's sort of the idea of what I like about it. It's really versatile and I can wear it all year round.
Well, it's artful as well as it creates, it's like seasonless with a little bit of
Yeah,
ventilation.
yeah, yeah. You know, it to me, it's really that idea of like it's a statement sweater. It's
Yeah.
something that you sort of look at it and you want to sort of touch it and you want to see you're like what is that, what are you wearing, you know, it's not too weird, you
Hmm.
know, it's not too sort of, well, I can't wear that. A lot of non-fashion people are like, well, how can you wear that, you know, like that's just so weird, or why would you wear that? It has something where I've seen people wearing it where people just like touch them, you know, they want to know what's
Yeah.
going on, and I think
Yeah.
that's a great thing to do with your clothes or other people's clothes.
It's a great part of knitwear. There's that tactile quality to it. So you talked briefly about color, Victor. So first of all, you use the most beautiful bold colors
Thank
in your
you.
designs. I think that for me, that's a signature when I'm thinking about your clothes. I'm thinking about the mixture of colors. And also, for those of you who don't know Victor, Victor's personality is also just the most colorful, fun. You are just like the
Look at my
best. I
shorts.
mean, you're like a
Wait, can you see my
positive
shorts?
energizer bunny.
Oh,
Ooh!
my phone is too. Oh, I can move it down. Look at my
I told
shorts.
Victor that we were going to do some show and tell, and
We can do that
I thank
later.
you for following directions. So, looking stylish and always bringing positive energy. So, color. I think we talked a little bit about Hilma Klint.
Oh,
Just
yes.
yes, I mean oh, that exhibit at the Guggenheim a few years
It's
ago.
incredible.
She's
Incredible.
incredible. But talk to me about the colors that you gravitate towards.
It's really a mood, you know. Some seasons it's primary and really bright and really bold. Some seasons it's pastels like Hilma off Klimt.
Yeah.
You know, I really get into like metallics and things of that nature. I always love sort of like a black and white.
Yep.
Because like you'll never really see me wear all black, even ooh.
Black and white.
Um, you'll never see me in like all like black, like a lot of
Yeah.
art and fashion people wear. I just feel like, what's the point? Um, and so I like a contrast. Like I like a bright color. I like a pastel. I like black and white. I like playing with all of those different colors. Like I personally, like I wear a lot of color.
Yeah.
The last few months, it's been slow to return. But I just like it and I like to play with it. You know, like before all of this, I went to and she's a friend of mine, Jordan Castile's show at the New Museum, and it was incredible, the sense of color and the
Yeah.
detail and the depth of it, you know. And I just really love just wearing it. I like seeing it. I love seeing people wear color. You know, I like people's homes that have color. Like
Yeah.
when I saw you, when like we first turned on, like I saw what was behind you, you know, so it's always sort of like where my eye goes instantly.
Yeah. I'm with you. You posted a picture on Instagram this year in head to toe pink, and I then went and purchased an entire. You influenced me to wear head to toe pink because I want to be like you.
You
Um,
DM'd me. I remember that.
I did. I think I sent you my outfit.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wanted you to bless it. Um, so we're here, and I feel like it's all about manifesting. So if you
Mm.
could name an artist, or is there anyone out there in the fashion, in the art ether that you dream of collaborating with one day, or
Um, I can give you two.
okay,
One maybe one who's alive and one who's not.
that sounds good.
I recently a friend of mine sent like this article in the New York Times about this amazing quilter,
Mm,
Rose Lee Tompkins. It was really recently, and they were so beautiful, you know, whether it's a pattern or a solid or denim or this. And it was incredible. It was
yeah,
incredible. You know, like that would be something that I would love to sort of figure out how to work with her estate or whatever. And someone whose paintings who I love and I think is just captures, you know, tone and color and movement so beautifully is Lynette Yodom Boyke. Like her portraits are just extraordinary, and she's very much alive, and I would love to work with her.
Lynette, if you're listening, or if any friends of Lynette
Hi, Lynette. Hi.
at Glemaud. I love it. I actually, that part of the patchwork idea, I can actually start to visualize that in
Oh,
wear. That would be genius.
oh, I posted it maybe like 2 weeks ago. It's fairly
Mhm.
recent. It's incredible. It's incredible. And they actually like put a lot of the images there and you can take a virtual tour. It's a
Oh,
museum in like Berkeley or something. I forget the name. And it's
oh,
incredible. It's incredible.
maybe that will be my summer road trip. Oh, well,
Oh,
they
you're
have to be
planning your
okay.
holidays.
Yeah, exactly. Is there, so not to put you on the spot, I had wanted you to show us something because during quarantine, a lot of creative people we're finding outlets, whether it's cooking, sketching, painting. Is
Uh-huh.
there any outlet that has been speaking to you during this
Um,
time?
well, I stopped baking like around sort of Memorial Day. I was like, enough of that. We still
This
have
isn't
to have
going.
the, yeah, we still need a little summer body.
Yeah.
It's just been a lot of work, you know, and I did see that question. So, and this just came out, I guess a couple of days ago. We did, I did that recently. This is a sketch
Oh,
for Departures, just came out.
I love that.
Yeah, and they were asking folks about their favorite sort of like New York hotels, and this is the Lowell,
I was gonna
where
say, I feel like I've been there.
of course you have.
Yeah.
Um, and it's the Lowell where like my husband and I, we like used to when we were courting, we were dating, we would go
Ooh.
to like Upper East Side bars, and we loved it there. And like I had I did my first Met Gala last year.
Mhm.
And we stayed there with Dominique Jackson, and we had an amazing time, and they were fantastic. And then before that, I did like a whole sort of lookbook shoot there with India Moore, and we shot it in one of the suites there. So I was just like, let's
I
do the
love it.
low. Yeah, so that was really fun, and something that is not just zooming and looking at your phone all day.
Exactly. I think the need to do something with our hands
Yes,
besides this
yes,
is definitely necessary.
yes.
Um,
What have you
so,
been doing?
oh my gosh, I've turned myself into Martha Stewart. I cook morning, noon, and night, and I love it. And like you, I mean, the baking has become a little bit problematic.
Are you baking
Started with
bread?
gluten-free. What?
Are you baking bread?
I haven't been doing that. I've been baking everything from muffins to cookies to cakes. I mean, my
Wow.
quarantine mates are thrilled. So, but so that
I'm
happens.
impressed.
Thank you. Thank you. So I find it's great because it requires so much of your senses. You really can't look at your phone,
Yeah,
except when
it's
you, of
true.
course, photograph it to show everyone later.
Yeah.
So I want to, while I have you here, again, welcome everybody who's joining. I have Victor Glemaud, incredible fashion designer and dear friend. If we have any up and coming designers or artists on this IGTV, any advice you'd give, just because I feel like you're so down to earth and approachable, is there any advice that you could give an artist starting out their business?
Uh, don't be open to ask for help and take advice. I think that was something that I learned at the very beginning, and it's still something I sort of struggle with, to just ask, like, can you help me with this? Do you know this? And much more so during quarantine, like when things pop up that I don't know, I'm like, I don't know that. Like, can you
Yeah.
explain that to me? Like, there isn't that artifice of just being like, everything and it doesn't matter, and we're like, go go go, and blah
Yeah.
blah blah. So just and maybe that's the word for it, is being humble and just
Hmm.
being sort of okay with not knowing everything. And I think when you are young and when you are starting out and you don't know, you need, like, an accountant, and you need, this, and you need a lawyer, and all of
Yeah.
these things that you're talented, and you can create art, and you can create clothes, and you can do all these things, but the
Which is such a
business,
gift.
it's
Which is such a
amazing.
gift.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. But, unfortunately, there's like a business side of it that
Oh yeah.
we don't get taught in school.
Yeah.
You just sort of have to figure it out. And it took me some time to get comfortable with that,
Yeah.
and sort of acknowledging the fact that I don't know everything, and
Yeah.
I need help.
The expression art and science is real. It is real.
It's very real.
And I have to say, speaking of art and science, your fashion shows that I used to have the privilege of attending when I lived in New York were like mini art openings in and of
Thank you.
themselves. And I'm just curious, in your view, what's going to happen to Fashion Week as we go forward, and art openings? I mean, how are you thinking about doing your incredible presentations or not going forward?
Yeah.
I know it's sort of a weird question, but
Yeah. For this year, I'm doing everything virtually. Like,
mhm.
I feel, and that was a decision that we made back in April. And now I feel like it's proving to be the right decision because of
Yeah.
everything that's happening all over our country.
Hmm.
Um, and I do long for and think about, like, my next show, hopefully, in February during New York Fashion Week.
Yeah.
In New York, with my friends. I'm friends with a lot of designers. I go to their shows if it's after mine. um, but I what I want is to continue with that sort of whole community that I was building, that you had attended a couple of times,
Yeah.
where it feels like, I always like my shows to sort of feel like an extension of, like, having dinner at my house,
Yeah.
so like my fashion friends are sitting with my family is sitting with my fashion friends, we serve drinks, there's nibbles, there's great music, like people are dancing, my nephew's running around. Like I like a mix,
Yeah.
and I think that's sort of the vibe that I've always enjoyed and
Yes.
set and settled comfortably in. So I want to
Yeah.
bring that back. But obviously I think it has to be less people. I think, we have to do a big expense in terms of trying to add virtual elements like live stream and AR and all these other things that I don't know a lot about, but
Yeah.
I've been forced to learn them recently.
Yeah.
um,
But
um,
I mean, I have to say, every time I would go walk into one of your shows, it felt like I was at the coolest party I'd ever been invited to in New York. And I was so thrilled to be on the invitation list. That's pretty much how I felt. So please bring that back. Please bring that
oh
back.
yeah, they're going to come back some point.
Yeah. So let's shift to, let's, talk about the world right now, because
Uh-oh.
I know. So I want to know, how has this time, both COVID-19, the Black Lives Matter movement, like how is that changing the industry? And do you think consumers are changing their patterns?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, it's sort of started back in April where people were just like, we don't know what's going on. It was uncertain. They were
Yeah.
buying less, they were buying essentials. People were scared. Luckily in the last couple of months, we've been selling clothes and things have sold out in certain places. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be in March. But nevertheless, it's still hard. It's still unsure. And a lot of people are still dying in this country and a lot of people are still sick. So I don't see us, obviously, whenever things reopen, people get sick again. So I don't think that's going
Yeah.
to happen. Um, but for me, what I started really thinking about, I guess 4 weeks ago, the end of May, the beginning of June was, my little platform, what I have and my access and what I know, and how do I sort of help a new generation of creatives who look like me, who might have a
Yeah.
similar background. And that's really sort of where I'm focused on in terms of, the economics of fashion, mentoring, and helping people understand how to navigate this sort of, odd and insular industry that everyone interacts with because we all wear clothes.
Yeah.
Um, so that's really what I've been doing, and it's been really sort of incredibly exciting to be introduced to young designers. And some DM me, some are introduced by other friends, and I just talk to them, and I see how I can lend a helping hand and some advice because I had a lot of help starting out in this industry, and those people still remain my very close
Hmm.
friends. So I feel like that's what I can do.
I have to just say and applaud you, because obviously it didn't take a crisis for you to already be the most inclusive person. And even from, as a former retailer, your approach to size inclusivity and just how you took that on way ahead
Yes.
of the game. So
Yes. Yeah.
congratulations
Yeah.
for,
For me, none of these things are labeled. I don't say I do this. I don't say it's that. It's just part of who we are. It's
yeah.
always been a part of, my friends and my family that we, if you're like nice and you have a personality and, and you have a vibe, come and hang with us,
Totally. Yeah.
you know?
Victor Glemaud has a personality, everybody, in case you do not know.
Sometimes.
um, so I guess I want to bring the conversation back to art again, because we are here
Of
on
course.
ARTnews with Victor Glemaud,
That's why I wear
and
my
I would
shirt,
like
my
you to,
paint splatter shirt.
we have paint splatter, we have pattern on pattern, we have slash sweaters, we have it all. Victor, can you finish the sentence? Art
Oh,
is important because
because it's beauty.
it is beauty.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite piece of art?
Yes, it is a photograph that my husband got me, like our first sort of like gift. His first sort of gift to me. That I love that picture.
I have to say, between the Upper East Side dates and the gift, I'm like, this sounds so wonderful. Love all of this. I love the romance. Okay, so artists and designers are required to create collections, be creative all the time. And how do you continue to find this inspiration? I mean, we've talked about art. I mean, travel, obviously. What should we do now?
You know what I've been doing the last couple of months? I've been sort of reading, I've been allowed to like read books and like read
I know.
novels and that's sort of where I've been getting sort of inspired by, surprisingly, you know,
Yeah.
and before it took me a long time to finish a book, and
I was
now
going to
like
say, you've read a full book.
I've read several.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
I've read several. Like in the morning, like I just sort of like I still wake up early, so
That's great.
like I read and then like I get, you know, I turn on the computer and the phone or whatever. But yeah, I've been reading sort of every morning, and that's where my mind has been like wandering since I can't go to an art gallery or, you know,
Right.
look at how people are dressing, you know, on the street or at the airport. So for me, surprisingly, that's where it's been happening. And there's a lot of great sort of cooking books here, and I've been
Mhm.
looking at those and just like great books and art books, and that's really where I've been being inspired without hitting the streets.
I love it.
Yeah.
Do you have, I would love to know if you have a mantra, because again, for those of you who've tuned in late, I was saying, Victor, you have to know him, but he walks into the room and there's just like an energy shift, and in a good way. And I just want to know what your mantra is, or how do you stay so positive?
I feel like there's a phrase I used to say all the time, but now I forget. I have to ask my good friend Camilla. She remembers things that I don't remember anymore for me, or my sister as well. Um, but a word that I use all the time is sweetie. And it could be interpreted and said in many ways. It could be sweetie, it could be sweetie, or like sweetie. You know, so that's sort of like my catch-all.
Okay. I'm gonna start calling everyone I know sweetie and
Yeah.
see what happens if there's a transformation. I guess, and so Victor, we've sort of covered everything, but I'd
Have
like to
we?
give you a chance if there's anything you'd like to tell the art news community about yourself or about your brand, or just anything we don't know about
Um,
you that I didn't ask.
um, well, you know, I think I said a lot. Thanks for taking the time to pop in and join us. This was fun for me. Hope it was fun for you.
It's so
I'm
fun.
happy I got to see Brooke.
I mean, Victor, like you don't understand how happy this has made me. This is how we socialize with one another. And but
It
you are
is.
seriously just, you're so creative and such a positive force. And so it's a
Thank
real
you.
honor to be
Thank you.
able
And
to
I'm
start
honored
this
to be the
conversation.
first one to do this with you. Thank you. I didn't
You
even know
are
that.
awesome. Well, thank you so much, and more coming soon. Bye, Victor Glemaud.
Bye,
Follow him
Brooke
at Glemaud.
Jaffe. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.